Hold on. Where'd you go? There you are.
I unmuted myself.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's get started. You ready, Sabrina?
Yeah, as ready as I will be.
Yay, I'll introduce you a little bit. So I'm sure you guys saw on my post earlier, what Sabrina's all about, but a little summary. Sabrina's been on my team since 3 years ago. She was one of my very first coaches, and I'll let her kind of tell her backstory, but her and I actually worked together at our skilled nursing facility as therapists, and I never thought of inviting Sabrina. As I worked with her, I actually was nervous to invite my coworkers, so I didn't invite her till like way later, around summit time, around this time 3 years ago. And she is a diamond coach, a 1-star diamond qualifying coach actually. Her husband is her diamond right now, and he actually just started working the business like yesterday, so like actually working it. So I'm gonna let her just take the stage and talk to you about her transformation. She's just blown me away the past couple of months, especially. Not just on the outside, like yes, on the outside she's changed, but on the inside, it's mind-blowing and it's made me tear up. And she's just gonna share with you all about it. So I'll let you take the stage, Sabrina.
Okay, so I have a collage of pictures, but I'm not going to even worry about that until the end if we have time. I'm just going to kind of go through everything. So first, mine is like, my transformation is really all mindset. And yeah, I've lost like 30 pounds in the last 5 months almost, but I really want to focus on the mindset part of it tonight because it's been a huge shift for me. And I hope that anything that I say tonight will speak to you. But I do want to say that I am not any more special than any of you guys, and I'm probably going to say a lot of the things that you have already heard. So I've learned, and there's been a series of events over the last 5 months that have been like slaps in the faces for me, like wake-up calls. And I truly believe that we have to hear things multiple times in order to kind of be like, oh, I get it now. And so for me, being in this business almost 3 years now, in July, that's really what's happened over the last few months. And I've been more open to that. So a little bit of background on me. I was like the worst challenger ever. I shipped my Shakeology back before the end of the challenge group. I canceled my account. I gave my portion control containers away to a neighbor, and I only did the workouts. And I lost 3 pounds and like 9 inches. And then Brooke came to me after Summit, and she's like, hey, have you ever considered doing what I do as a coach? And I'm like, hell no. Like, I shipped my Shakeology back, and I gave away my containers, and I didn't do anything. So how could I ever help anyone else with this? But she sent me a video, and I watched it, and I was like, I really needed money, like really bad. Like our family needed money. We had been through foreclosure and bankruptcy in like 2 years before that. So we were kind of just coming out of that and living in a rental, and we wanted to buy a house. And so that's really what spoke to me, along with I had 45 pounds to lose. And I was like, it was like a fork in the road for me. I was like, okay, either you walk away from this and treat it as another quick fix, or you actually dive in and do it and get results and help people and make money. And so it was just, all right, I'm all in. So I was a really kind of a runner coach. Like I lived off of YouTube, like constantly watching YouTube, implementing anything that Brooke said. I had an 8-week-old colicky baby, so he was pretty much nursing all the time. So I was working on my phone all the time, on my lunch breaks, because I was working 40+ hours a week. And I hit diamond pretty quickly. I lost 45 pounds, and I slowly built confidence and belief in myself. But in November of 2016, I had a miscarriage. And it was a pregnancy that wasn't planned. And I felt extreme guilt because I told my husband, like, I don't want another baby. Like, I was in the middle of hammer and chisel and whatever. And I blamed that miscarriage on myself. I went into a really deep depression and anxiety, and I told myself that God took away something from me that I didn't want because I was being selfish, and I gained 20 pounds back in a matter of 6 months. I started to coast by in my business, and I had thoughts of quitting this business. I didn't want to, it was one heavy foot in front of another. I didn't want to continue. It felt like too much work. But I just leaned into it and I tried my best. Success Club 6 was my average, if that. I think I've missed Success Club like 3 or 4 times, but I just didn't want to talk to people, and anxiety and depression is no joke. So I was doing the best that I could in that moment. So everybody was getting all hyped up about 80-day obsession. And I was like, what the hell? Why is everybody so excited about this? I was really annoyed. I was like, why are they posting in the bot squad so much? But I heard a team called by Autumn, and she said, 80-day obsession will change your business and your life. I was actually sitting in this room, and I remember thinking, that's it. Like, I need something to either stop playing small and level up. I hadn't even stepped on a scale, so I didn't know that I gained 20 pounds. It was just all like over my head. But I went 100% all in with 80-day obsession, and I built a little tribe and community. There was about 6 of us who went all in, and I realized that all this time, and you guys will see it in my pictures, but I was never 100% all in. I never followed the meal plans. I never did everything that I should have done. So always remember that what we do and what we do on our fitness journey is we're showing other people what they can do. And I didn't get that before that. I just kind of coasted by. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have been like eye-opening moments for me. Am I okay, or am I cutting off? Okay. All right. So one of the things that I struggled with, and a lot of you probably do too, is putting people on a pedestal. And I recognized that very early on in my business. I had to unfollow all the top coaches because I was comparing myself too much. And I struggled a lot with putting Brooke on a pedestal, which I've told her this. And I just saw her high numbers, and I was like, I could never hit Success Club that high, and I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. At the Success Club trip, Michael and I were in a couples massage with actually Ashley Mosed and her husband. We were sitting there in our robes, like waiting to go back. And I was like whispering to him, and I'm like, Michael, like she gets like 500 Success Club points a month. And he looked at me and he was like, yeah, we're sitting in the same room on the same trip with her. And I was just like, you're right, like eye-opening. So I think we have to remember that everybody who's having success in this business doesn't need to be on a pedestal, and you really should put yourself on a pedestal. And that's kind of what I did. I stopped worrying about what anyone else was doing. I literally unfollow every coach, and it's not because I don't support them. It's just because I know me, and I have to put myself on a pedestal. I have to see my worth. And so another thing was Success Club points. Like, we were striving to hit Success Club 10 by like April 10th to get a photo opportunity with the trainers. And Brooke messaged me, and she had like Success Club 20. And I was like, Brooke, you already hit Success Club 20. Like, why are you still sending out 20 more invites? And she was like, because like Success Club points are money. And I was just like, oh. So I have always been the coach that I would go hard for like 2 weeks in the beginning of the month, and then I would coast the rest of the month. So I would literally take my foot off the gas. And then starting the first again, I would go hard again for like 2 weeks and then take my foot off the gas. And that really did help me get, Success Club 6, but it never unlocked any potential past that. I was a coach who had never hit Success Club 20, and I didn't understand why. And that ties into the whole money thing. I have always hidden behind the fear of wanting to earn money with this business. And part of it was belief that I didn't deserve it, belief that it was kind of selfish to earn money this way. But my family has had a turn of events in the past 6 months where I have needed to level up money-wise. And I have had such a belief in this company and what 80-Day Obsession did for me that everybody needs this opportunity now in my eyes. And I truly believe that it's a gift. And so I want to tell you guys that it's okay to be obsessed with money. It's okay to look at your volume, and it's okay to stalk your paycheck and watch it grow, because it will really show you what this can do for you. I lived in a blind field with the money. Like, I didn't watch my check go up. I didn't care that whatever money went in. I didn't watch it grow. And I think what we focus on, we create, and it can grow. And there's nothing selfish about making money doing something you love. And it took me a very long time to get to that point, because I'm not somebody who's driven by money, but when the money is tied into something valuable like my family, I will work hard for it, and I'm doing something I love. So Another thing is never hold yourself back. That's something I've always done. I'm a very reserved, quiet person. Like if you sit with me in a meeting at work, I won't be the one to speak out and talk my word. Like I'm very shy and just reserved. But so part of the struggle that I've always dealt with is sounding like a broken record and sharing everything. And I decided to stop holding myself back and to keep being a broken record. And sometimes I still even think, how many times do I have to talk about this miscarriage? But that's part of my story, and I'm going to own it and be proud of what I have done to come out of it. And so whatever stories are in your life, you have to be proud of them, and people care. People are watching you, and you have to own your story. And you are going to be a broken record, but don't hold yourself back. And if you're really proud of something, share it. Don't care about what anybody thinks, just share it. You have to treat your social media as a journal, and I feel like I've done this my whole business. I've always liked writing, and I'm not like somebody who plans anything, so I just go on my social media and I just type my thoughts as if it were a journal, and I try to be really real and raw. I have like a topic or a quote, and then I just go off of what I'm feeling. But sometimes I will be in a moment where I'm like, I don't know what to post. This happened to me a lot at Summit, and I was like, I don't know what to post. I haven't read personal development. I'm struggling. And so my recommendation is don't post. If you're feeling like it's forced, I'm not telling you not to post ever, but don't share something that you can't like pour your heart out in that moment. So when I have times like that I need to get a post on, I will either pull a transformation from one of my challengers, or now that I'm a coach for 3 years, I have so much posts from the year before that sometimes I will recycle those posts and kind of just reword them so I don't have to think much. But I've had to share a lot of scary things in my business over the last 3 years, like the miscarriage, financial struggles with my, I had to share how we lost our house to foreclosure. And I had to share as we went on our journey to buy a new house. And that could have went really bad. You know how scary it is to buy a house. We could have ended up not getting that house, but I took my whole following on the journey of buying a house. And I just realized that we have to live our truth. It's real life. And as long as we're being positive about it and just being real and open, you're going to attract so many more people. That's one of the main things that when people fill out my challenge group applications, they just tell me, like, you are so real, you're so truthful, I can tell that you're not fake. And people can feel that. And so whatever you feel like you're holding yourself back with, try to just be more open about it and try to create a story. And then the last thing is being really omnipresent. I'm in my stories a lot more now, and I'm posting a lot less, but just treating your stories like a diary constantly, and making sure that your stories are like repetitive. I always think of like your favorite show. Every time you watch it, you're probably thinking let's think of like Full House. You will see them in the kitchen at one point. You will see them in the family room and probably in one of the upstairs bedrooms. That's kind of how your story should be. You should have some staples in there, and then you should have some random things. And that's kind of what I try to do. So like every morning I will talk on my stories, and then I always have my Energize in my hand. And then I always do my workout, and I don't know, there's a few staples, but try to do that because people come back. So you want to create that constant ongoing story. And so after that, I want to say, make sure during hard times that you lean in, because that's what I did. It was really hard, but I just truly leaned into this business and leaned into this company. It's easy to want to close the door and run away, but if I would have done that, I don't even know where I would be. And in December, I was considering quitting. So imagine where I would be right now. Another thing is constructive criticism. Brooke, or your upline coach, is there to push you to another level. They're there to love you and support you, and they want what's best for you, and it is not for their own benefit. I struggle with giving constructive criticism to my own coaches because I'm not a tough love person. I'm working on that. But Brooke has come to me many times and given me tough love, and immediately I've gotten upset with her and I've cried about it. And I'm like, she doesn't understand. But at the end of the day, Brooke wants what's best for me and she wants what's best for you. And so you have to take it with a grain of salt, look within yourself and just do it. So one of the things that Brooke told me about, you guys, if you know me, for the last 2.5 years, I have never smiled with my teeth, ever. I don't like my smile. That's something that I've had an issue with for a while. And Brooke told me, like, you are so beautiful. Why don't you use your smile? I've seen you in person smile. I know what you can smile like. And I was so mad at her. I was like, how could she tell me something cosmetically that I don't like about myself? But I stepped back and I said, Sabrina, like, she's doing this out of the goodness of her heart. And ever since then, I've smiled with my teeth and I've gotten over that issue. So what I want to say about that is truly just look within yourself when somebody comes to you and gives you advice. It is not to beat you down, okay? That's something that was hard for me to come over with a lot of times. Like, she's given me other things too. And I always just choose to look at it as fuel. So I hit Success Club 36 last month and locked in my diamond rank and my husband. And what did I do differently? I want to tell you guys that really, honestly, nothing besides all of the things I just talked about and leveling up. I increased my numbers and I used no's as fuel. And I never took my foot off the gas. And I think that was something I always did. I always put my eggs in one basket. I always settled when I hit Success Club 6 or 10. And I focused on hitting Success Club weekly. I mean, what was the worst that could happen? I got Success Club 6 instead of, Success Club 3 for a week or whatever instead of 6. Who cares? I'm still pushing myself and it makes me never want to stop inviting and working. Never, when somebody ghosts on you, I tell my team this all the time, do not ghost on them. If somebody ghosts on you, it means they need more time to believe in what you're doing. So what I do when somebody tells me no is I go in their face like 10 times more. I watch all of their stories, I message them and create that interaction, and I comment and like on their page, and I will message them about other things, and I just stay in their face. So if somebody tells you no, don't ghost on them, go back and just stay there, because I promise they will come back. Let's see. Okay, so another thing is growing yourself. So we are all a product of the stories that we tell ourselves every single day, and affirmations have been a game changer for me. I was somebody who had a lack mentality. I believe that if I helped a ton of people, that's another reason why I took my foot off the gas. I had to save more people for next month. I had a lack mentality. And this book right here, it's called May Cause Miracles. This book is actually a book that I read last month, and I'm telling you, this book caused a miracle in my mindset and in my business. So what it is it's kind of like a daily devotional, and it gives you an affirmation every single day. I would type that affirmation on my stories, and I typed it on my notes and in my timer and my alarm, and I read it every single day, all day. One of the affirmations was, I am not my lack mentality. And I feel like that's one of the strongest problems that I have, is I feel like there's not enough people for me. And so that is something that I repeat daily. So I already talked about blinders on and the book. So let me see. I see something in the chat. Oh, the book is called May Cause Miracles. It's by Gabby Bernstein, I think, yeah. I'm gonna try to share my screen real quick. Is it working? No? Yes? Okay. So this is my very first challenge group. I lost 3 pounds and 9 inches, and it was actually shortly after that when I started coaching. You can see, like, I completely hid my face. There was no confidence or self-belief at all. I can tell you that right now. Hopefully I can scroll through these. This was right around the time that I was wanting to quit. You can see the pain in my face. You can see that I was forcing everything. I can just, now looking back, I'm like, how did I even post this? So you just can see the growth. And then this was, I decided to go 100% all in with 80-day obsession. So I put my before photos out there. I stepped on the scale that day, realized I gained 20 pounds, and decided to go all in. Sorry guys, it takes a while to scroll. Okay, so here's like five days in 80-day obsession. You see the pain in my face and the uncertainty and no confidence at all in what I was doing. Again, it just pains me to even look at this, but it's not that long ago. And I think we have to remember that, you know? So again, so you can kind of see now, this is about a month in that I'm starting to build that confidence back up. I remember from day one, 80-day obsession changed everything for me, but I feel like right away I started to find myself again. I always, after the miscarriage, wished that I could be the person I was before, and it was so hard to get there. And this is truly what did it. So this was day 1 and day 34. You can see completely different. I just feel like there's a light in my eyes and so much more happiness. And then I'm definitely glowing more. That's like 2 months in. And these were my 80-day results. I lost 23 pounds or 20 pounds and 23 inches. And then this was when Brooke told me to smile. So you can tell in these pictures, I honestly feel free. I feel free from 80-day obsession, from everything that's happened over the last 5 months. I jumped right back into 80-day obsession too because I fell in love with it so much. Sorry, going slow. That's like one of my very first before photos. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Those were like day 5 to now. This is like January to now. And then that was like a couple of weeks ago. And then that was today. All right, let me stop sharing screen.
Did she freeze? Did she freeze, you guys? Can you hear?
No, I think she froze.
Oh, no! Well, I'll wait for her to hop back on. I'm sure she'll hop back on. But, okay, so this was, I just want to talk about her smile. Like, you guys, who else sees the difference? Like, this is what I pictured when I told her, you need to smile. And it was so hard for me. It's hard for me to always give tough love, like it really is. It might seem like it's so easy for me, but it's easier for me because I know the greatness that can be tapped into. Like, I knew her potential, and I was like, she needs to do this, because I see her in person all the time, like, the cutest with her smile. When she laughs, when she smiles, and I'm like, when she does that in her social media, it will explode. Like, her business will explode, and it has. She hit Success Club 36 when she started doing that, and doing all these other things too. Sabrina, are you back?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, you just froze for a little bit.
So I'm sorry, guys. I'm a really fast talker.
No, you're good.
But,
I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I had, I think. Like, I could go on about other things if you guys want, but that's pretty much all I had about that topic. So, if anyone has any questions or comments, I don't know, Brooke, if I missed anything, because I know I've come to you with a lot of my eye-opening slaps in the faces.
Yeah, one thing, can you guys get your questions together? I really want you guys to be asking Sabrina questions. Sabrina has been there. Sorry, my dog is tangled in my cord. Hold on. Okay. Sabrina's been with me on this journey since, like, hold on, let me give a graham cracker to my son. She's been on this journey with me since basically day one. And so her and I talk basically every single day. We're very, very close. She has seen it all. She's seen me through my ultimate struggles, my ultimate highs. And one thing that really stuck out to me today that Sabrina said, and I totally agree with, and I always ask my coaches this, is when a coach is struggling, 2 questions need to be asked. How's your journey going with your health and fitness, your personal development? So there's 2 questions you need to ask yourself and 2 questions you need to ask your coaches. How's your journey going? And how's your PD going? What book and podcast are you listening to or reading? And like 99.9% of the time, a coach is like, well, you know, I've been putting myself in the back burner with all those things. Well, there you go. I swear to you guys, like this morning I woke up early for the first time in a long time, did my personal development, my workout early. You can feel in my post how different my vibe is. So I'm just throwing that out there, but ask Sabrina your questions there.
One thing about that too is during that hard time, that hard year, I didn't really go to Brooke with it. I distanced myself from her, and I'm sure she felt that, but I didn't want to bring her down. So what I did is I truly just focused on reading personal development. I leaned into that so hard. I read like 2 books a month. It's truly my saving grace. And so I truly believe that growing ourselves is our responsibility, and we shouldn't put that negativity on anyone else. We're all going to have tough days. I still do. But we have to remember that when we're feeling that way, it's our responsibility to get ourselves out of that funk, because it's a short-term thing if you lean into it. As far as opening up about the miscarriage, that was really hard for me because I felt so guilty about it. But what I did was I waited until about 6 months before the due date, and then I talked about it, and I started to take people on the journey of my feelings during the miscarriage time and after. I kept a notes in my phone because I wanted to remember how I felt, but I didn't want to share it then and there. And I think that's something important too. Sometimes it's really hard to share something we're going through in the moment, but it doesn't mean that it's not part of our story and we should never share it. So I knew that I would have to share that as a coach eventually, but I couldn't do it in that moment. So I just said, like, I posted, because the day I found out that the baby wasn't there, we were taking family photos, and I was supposed to do an announcement photo with the baby. Like, you know, I was going to be an announcement photo. So I have our family pictures, and I was pregnant, but there was no baby. And so I used that picture, and I shared my feelings in that moment, and I told them that, you know, the baby isn't there, and I just poured my heart out. And every week, up until the miscarriage due date, I shared the little bit of feelings. Like I shared the ultrasound, I shared, you know, the guilt, the blame, the denial. And it took a while, but I just continued to be open about it. It was hard, but there's a lot of people that go through it. I can see a lot of you guys have too. And that is a huge part of my story. So I share it a lot. I share my story often. I'm probably an oversharer on my story, but I think you have to do what works for you. I tried to post a before and after because I've had such a huge transformation overall with Beachbody, losing 50 pounds, that I try to overshare. Like I literally share my story at least once a week in some way, shape, or form. And I am now, with my new recent transformation, able to share my most recent January before photo, whereas before I was really relying on my very first before photo. So it's attracting people who are in that stage of my life, whereas before I was attracting a lot of people who had a ton of weight to lose. Yeah, I feel like you'll know when it's time to share. Just keep writing your feelings. And then it was scary. I mean, I have family that didn't know, but I just knew that I had to do it. So I asked my husband for permission because he has family on my Facebook and he was open with it. And so I just have done it. And I think sharing it in bits and pieces is really good too. As far as turning no's into yeses, it takes such a long time. You have to remember how long it took you to join this, because for me, I was kind of somebody who was all in. I think I actually went to Brooke, but she kind of started forming me. But I have a lot of challengers who have taken 1 to 2 years, 3 years now being in this business, and I actually have notebooks because that's how I used to track of names. And sometimes I'll pull them out when I'm feeling like I need to remember who I used to talk to. And so just never count a no as forever no. Just count it as a not right now. And it's not about turning them into yeses. At least for me, it's not. I feel like our job is to educate them, but at the end of the day, to leave the ball in their hands and always ask for a follow-up. And like I said, don't ghost on them. Go be their friend and show them that you're in this. Use it as fuel always. Whenever somebody tells me no, I just go invite more people, because I'm like, I'll show you. And I have that watch me or join me mentality, kind of like Brooke has, and I kind of get that little evil laugh like, well, I'm going to show you that you're missing out. And I just truly push myself in my business even more. I like to share my challengers' transformations a lot, and not only my story, but my challengers have been featured on my page close to as much as I have, because I'm helping women get success, and I'm proud of that. Even if it's the same girl that I'm sharing every month, I don't care. Finding time with everything is tough. I'm a mom of 4, and when I started this business, I was working 40 plus hours a week. So I truly just worked in pockets of time. Like I said, I used to message people at 1 a.m. when my son was nursing. This business is my family's saving grace right now, and so I don't ever not make time for this business. I'm not on my phone all the time. I treat my phone like a business, and so I don't sit on here like I used to and just text people all day. I look for black holes, and if it's something that's not going to move my business forward, I don't play around with it. I used to spend more time on my phone scrolling and wishing I was someone else than I do working my business. And I do make sure my hour is productive, and it's a lot of time broken up. Now I'm home for the summer, and most of my time is broken up. Like, my kids are sitting watching a movie, that's when I send out my invites, and I just do like really hardcore 30 minutes, and then I walk away. My stories are probably what take more time for me, because I try to be so omnipresent, but it's paying off because it's really attraction marketing. People are coming to me a lot more than they did in the beginning. I invite people. It's always evolving. The first thing I always do is invite people who are liking and supporting my posts. I have a script, and I can post it, but it's something similar that I'm sure Brooke has, but it's like, thank you so much for your support, mostly on my recent 80-day obsession transformation. And then I just say, I'm actually getting a bunch of girls started again next month. Would you be interested in hearing more information? Everybody who likes or comments if I've never messaged them or invited them, I'm messaging them and inviting them. I think it takes a while to build that credibility to be able to cold invite, but I think with confidence and belief and just being so omnipresent, people are going to take you seriously. Just rid the salesy feeling, because I truly believe this can change people's lives. And so when I message people, I have all the confidence, and people respond to that. What do I mean about inviting? I don't know what that means. I try to send about 20 invites a day. I don't know. And right now I'm really focusing on Instagram, because I've been building my business on Facebook for the last 2.5 years.
Sabrina, did you mention omnipresence?
Oh yeah, so omnipresence is being everywhere they look. I think it's telling your story weekly, if not daily, constantly talking about the coaching opportunity every single day in your stories in one way, shape, or form. That's something that, because I actually had a meeting with corporate a couple months ago, and she told me to talk about coaching every single day in my stories. Making sure you're talking about coaching a lot. on your page. We can attract challengers that can be rock star coaches from the get-go. And actually, since I've been doing that, a lot of my coaches are working the business as they're doing ADD Obsession. I'm inviting people to my challenge group, and I have like a lot going on. So I just try to say, would you be interested in hearing more about one of my upcoming July groups or getting plugged into my July groups? And yeah, so I would always have a challenge group coming up. I actually have like 2 to 3 between all the new programs. So I just, based off of their application, I know which group that would be best for them. I have a challenge group that's a general one. So it's like all of people who are doing 21 Day Fix, ADD Obsession, anything and everything. I have a 2B Mindset one that I actually do with my success partner, Kyle. And then I'm going to be running a Lift 4 group. So 3 next month, but 1 is ongoing. And I don't know, it's just worked better for me than starting a new ADD Obsession group every month. I kind of just plug them in. Kyle actually made a file where it has all the prep week posts, and I have them pinned in my group, tag them in the prep week posts, and just tell them to jump right in, and everybody's on a different day. But it's too hard to start a new group every 80 days. Too many people want to start every month that I can't, you know, separate them. So it's working. It took a while to get there, but I think that's pretty much it, and I think we only have like a minute left. So another thing I want to say real quick, guys, for those of you guys who are leaders or helping a team, make sure you use what the Bod Squad has, because that's something that I didn't do. I felt like I had to separate myself from the Bod Squad and be on my own, because Brooke is so amazing. But Brooke has created something amazing for us, and I am not going to waste my time trying to create these killer ass trainings when she's got it all under control. So I literally copied all of the Bod Squad website and everything and put it in my team page, and my team has exactly what Brooke has. And that way, if Brooke updates something in the middle of the night, because she does that a lot, my coaches have access to the most updated stuff, and I don't have to stress about updating it. So the only thing I do for my team is I do a team call, and we were doing a sneak peek, but we're not doing that anymore. And I have a puke thread. So like Brooks, we're all pushing for elite, my team. And so we really just post in there in the message thread to just kind of help each other with wording or any new things that are coming out.
I think we have like 10 seconds left.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much. I love you.
Love you too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for having on.